You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
All right, season 3 of Lower Decks is over so soon. Well, don't worry, there's still plenty to talk about. It's Monday night, it's 10 p.m. Eastern, it's 7 Pacific, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere, as we like to say, so it must be time for Mission Log Live. I'm John Champion.
And I'm Norman Lau. It's amazing that we're actually here, like the end of Lower Decks. So sad, but it's like we were just there like 10, 11 weeks ago, just talking about this new show. And here we are in the retrospective. So it's fantastic to be with you, John, finally, to be able to talk about this, and especially with our special guest, but we're going to get to that in a second. If you want to join in the conversation, you guys know what to do. You click on the Zoom meeting, you use the one tap from your smartphone, or call us at 669-900-6833, enter the meeting code, and Earl is going to be able to host you and pack all of you in the Earl Green room.
Yes.
To let you chat with us tonight and talk about what's going on with Lower Decks.
I've heard that's where the real party is in the Earl Green room, but I'm okay to be here. That's all right. I get to hear the stories after the fact. Speaking of all the people who will be packed in their Earl Green room, or maybe just hanging out in the chat, let's welcome you and say hello. So there's Rhea, there's Scott Palm. Good to see you, friend. There's Paul Wright and Paul Harveth. Will we get 3 Pauls tonight? Who knows? We got 2 out of 3 right now. It's almost a complete set. We got Jane, we got Alan, we got Heather. Heather also welcoming others into the chat. So awesome to see you there, sort of playing host in that chat. Let's see, who else do we have? We got Carlos, we got Narda, we got Eddie. There's just so many people. So good to see you all. You know what to do. We have wrapped up season 3 of Lower Decks. Now is the time we get to unpack everything that we saw, but we also get to do that with our expert guest, who you will meet very shortly. So, wait a minute. There's Octavius in the YouTube chat. All right. I think you're new to the show.
Fantastic.
Good to see you. Yeah. All right. So welcome everybody. And Norman, before we get into the real heart of the chat here and meet our guests, why don't we talk about what's coming up on Mission Log this week and Mission Log Prodigy? What's happening over on regular Mission Log on Voyager?
All right, so we have a lot of stuff happening this week. So on Voyager, for our regular mission log, we have Death Wish. That's the one it's the one with Q. And, well, there's Q and there's Q.
Oh, right? Q's in it as well. Okay.
Exactly. So you have Q and you have Q. It's the one where that one Q, not the other Q, but the one Q, he requests asylum from Voyager. And then the other Q shows up and he says, maybe, not really, maybe kind of just not like really. So exactly. Yeah. So feel free to send your comments about this episode to missionlog@roddenberry.com, because there's a lot that we have to say. There's a lot that you have to say. And if you want to talk about it, let us know about it, and we will get you on Mission Log in terms of like all the great conversation that we're having there. Make sure you visit YouTube at Roddenberry Entertainment. Okay, so that's our YouTube channel. If you haven't visited that, make sure you visit that, because Mission Log Prodigy is happening right now. And that's hosted by myself and Ashley V. Robinson and Charlene Schmidt, and we're talking about Mission Log Prodigy. And this week, the week of weeks, Episode 13. Oh my God.
Dude, look,
the world's a stage.
I don't want to get too far off of our topic tonight, because we are wrapping up season 3 of Lower Decks, which was epic and amazing and fantastic. I don't know if I was just particularly emotionally vulnerable the night that I watched All the World's a Stage. Choking up, crying like a baby watching that episode. And I texted Aaron Waltke afterward, and I was like, how dare you? Damn it. I'm at home, a grown adult male sitting here on my couch, just tears at that episode. So I can't wait to hear what you and Shar had to say about it. And I can't wait to get Aaron here on the air with us at some point, too, to talk about it.
I'm laughing because if I'm not laughing, I'm crying. And John,
right.
If we were missing, it was like, if I don't say John, I was talking about the logs. Please play the logs, because the logs are important.
Wait, I don't know if I can actually do it. Live logs and proper.
Live logs and proper. It really does hurt the fingers that way. So yeah, we're going to be dropping that tomorrow. And that's going to be an absolutely fantastic show. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to us on the Roddenberry channel there on Prodigy, Mission Log Prodigy. And of course, we have fantastic content as always. Captain Mike and Jessica Linverde have been doing great work, and we have great content for Mission Log the Orville. And of course, John and I, if you're not already tired of like looking at us either or listening to us, we have Mission Log Engage. Yeah, I know. I don't watch our stuff. We don't watch our own stuff.
You can't. Yeah.
But we have Mission Log Engage. We're talking about the content that you send us at missionlog@roddenberry.com. So make sure, everyone take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you follow us at podcasts.roddenberry.com for all of that great content. And also make sure you follow us on YouTube at Roddenberry Entertainment. So that's a lot.
It is a lot
with what we do here at Mission Log.
It is. Excellent. Well, thank you for that recap of what's happening in Mission Log Land. And, we do have some people waiting already who have called in. I can't wait to hear what they have to say. And now, of course, is your chance to chime in. Go over and click the link to join our Zoom meeting or use the one tap from your smartphone to call us, or call us 699-900-6833, and you will meet Earl, and he will put you in the Earl Green Room, and then you will be on air with us. And when I say us, I mean me. I mean you, Norman, and I mean our very special guest, who is a co-producer of Lower Decks. He is, he's absolutely awesome. He is Brad Winters, and we're talking about, an insider of the highest degree over at Lower Decks. So Brad, welcome to the show. It is a pleasure to have you here. How's it going tonight?
Welcome. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Kaplas, everyone. Kaplas.
Kaplas.
I don't know my actual title. I think I'm a producer now.
I
was a co-producer.
You're a co-producer. Sure. Now you're a producer. Okay. Got it.
Got it. Be very, very Hollywood.
Okay. Yeah. But look, but it is important to know that you're a producer.
I'm climbing my way up that ladder.
But you're the guy who makes things go. That is what I am told by a co-producer here at Roddenberry Entertainment. They're like, no, Brad's the guy who makes it go. Yeah.
I do. I'm greasing some wheels behind the scenes.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm making sure Lower Decks gets out the door.
Good.
Literally just stopped. All honesty, my computer is open right now. We've got some records happening tomorrow, and I'm doing some double duty. I apologize.
No, that's fine.
Multitask is, yeah.
It would be a horrible mistake if you were doing that and you're reading along and then you just start spouting off dialogue that comes from season 4, and we just suddenly
Boimler dies.
Oh my God! Whoa! No!
Spoiler alert! Yeah.
Nice. Excellent.
Which Boimler?
Yeah. Oh, see, exactly. I hope it's someone with the big, the mosquito wings, the fly wings. So I want that one. Yeah.
Now that's just a guy. He's not a Boimler. He's a guy that looks.
No, that's
kind of
true.
Like Boimler, if you just walked in very quickly on the Alhambra,
right,
and you just weren't really paying attention, maybe you're a busycation who's at a starbase, and all the ships look alike to you.
That would be it. That's how it would go. Yeah. Well, look, tell us how let's start at the beginning. How did you get to where you are now? Because I noticed that I've looked back at IMDb. There's some very cool stuff that you've worked on. I mean, Family Guy, Robot Chicken, Futurama, Tron Uprising.
Yes.
Very proud of Tron.
So good.
Very small part on Tron, but a beloved show. Turns out Disney XD wasn't ready for a kid show about suicide bombers. Didn't fit the but an incredible show, incredible production, and so many people on that.
You had Elijah Wood, you had Bruce Boxleitner, you had James Frayne. I mean, amazing voice cast.
Paul Rubens, incredible on that show.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Paul. We had so many great people, and then Joe Trapanese's score, his music. He's gone on to bigger and better. I mean, he was doing bigger and better things back then, but his career's blown up. Alberto Miego, Into the Spider-Verse, his art style. An incredible team, great people. And Bill, one of our writers on Tron, now on Strange New Worlds.
Awesome.
So weird little synergy.
By the way,
who you'll work with again.
I want to come back to that because I do have questions about Tron and some of the things you've worked on. But we have an important question that just came in from somebody in our audience, and he wants us to ask you how many windows the Cerritos has. Well,
give me a couple of weeks and I'll get back to you.
Okay, all right. Well, you're gonna have to get back about that question because that question came from Mike McMahon.
I was about to say, my phone is blowing up.
Yeah,
he's making fun of my lighting. Mike, I wanted to look like a Twitch streamer. That's what the kids do, right?
It's cool. Do you have a Hue bulb back there? Is that?
I'm living that Hue life.
Yeah,
I'm completely. It's me, our supervising director and producer Barry Kelly. We are simpatico on the Hue. We were talking about our light recipes. We're very bit. It's dumb. Make fun of us.
I'm a Hue enthusiast, and I will not lie. I do have a setting called Borg where everything goes green. So
you'll have to give me that recipe.
I will
implement it. Yeah.
I will.
Mike, I was just trying to match my shirt. I was trying to be complimentary to the. Our Paradoxus movie shirt.
I assume that he's still listening. Let me just point out that Mike McMahon has never prepared that hard for an interview with us. He's never done anything that detailed or that themed to chat with us. So
he knew you were coming, Brad. So
yeah,
I'm sorry, Mike. He was coming for you. Yeah, big time.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So
he's furious. I'm talking about Tron.
but no, we're going back to Tron because I want to know. You have all these cool credits. You worked on Tron. You worked on Robot Chicken. You worked on Family Guy. All these
the littlest bit. Family Guy, I'll take. I did a lot of work on Family Guy. Robot Chicken. I was Seth Green's assistant, and Matt Sunreich was the creators, EPs of the show. So like. I never want to take away from like the very talented, like the artists and stuff that work on Robot Chicken. Stop motion it's like they take the hardest, most difficult parts of animation and the hardest parts of live action, and they combine them together to make a very difficult, slow, like it's the level of craftsmanship. It's insane. If you ever watch any making of for stop motion for anything and you start to understand just how nuts it is. Like very talented people. I answered phones in another building.
I did.
Yeah. Good,
so we weren't like at the Phil Tippett level of like doing like 1 frame per second, that kind of thing.
No, I was coming down and like sticking my head behind a curtain and saying like, hey, some people, there's a tour that wants to come through. Would it be a big bother if they, I was that guy. Yeah, there's many people I've met that worked at Robot Chicken when I was there, and they're like, I never saw you. I'm like, why? Yeah. You would only see me if you were in a lot of trouble. Like you're coming up to the boss's office. Yeah.
Robot Chicken still gave us one of my favorite lines of all time, which is the Emperor saying, "What the hell's an aluminum falcon?"
Aluminum falcon.
I love. Yeah,
I believe voiced by one of my other old bosses, Seth MacFarlane.
Yes,
right. Yeah.
That guy,
friend of the show, Seth MacFarlane.
Does he like Star Trek?
Maybe you should ask him sometime. I don't know. Yeah,
I heard he likes a show called The Orville. Maybe a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, sure.
All right. So, how did all of that get you to Lower Decks?
So I fumbled my way into working at Family Guy and into animation. Literally getting coffee, getting the lunches, and then kind of just went around and asked every single person there, "What do you do? What's your job? How does this all work?" I love cartoons. I love animation. I love the process. And just slowly learned, moved up. And then a couple years into being there, well, more than a couple, after many years there, an opening happened at 20th Century Fox Television, working for Marcy Prieto, who was, she kind of oversees all of animation production and has for decades at this point. So any Fox animated show like Simpsons, Family Guy, King of the Hill, Futurama, the list goes on and on. Bob's Burgers. She was the executive overseeing all that, and she needed a new assistant. And so I hopped over there, and on my first day there, I met one of the other assistants down the hall, a man named Mike McMahon. And that's kind of where all that happened. He was on the development side, so the creative, smart, funny, coming up with stuff. And I was on but how does it get made? How does it happen? What unions do you need to call? What guilds? All of that stuff. And that's where our friendship began. And literally when he started his Twitter account, TNG Season 8, that was literally like him coming down to my cubicle, like, "Hey, you seen this Twitter account? Do you think it's funny?" And like he was keeping it hidden, and I was like, "This is hilarious." Then I'm like, "This is someone we know," because like the followers on it, and he's like, I was trying to do the math, and he was like, "It's me." I'm trying to, like, it's just me. And we were in a staff meeting, and it was just blowing up. The Twitter account was getting more and more followers and more stuff. And the head of our department at the time is like, "What are you two chuckleheads on the cat? Like, what are you guys doing over there?" Because Mike's showing me his phone, and it's just growing and growing and growing. And then, we both moved around at different places. I still production and like development, Mike into writing, and Star Trek's just always kind of been this thread. So the Warped, the book, the early versions of that came out, reading drafts of that, trying to hook him up with artists. There was like that whole development process. It's just, it's been a through line. Nerdiness and sci-fi has been a through line through our friendship. So it's been fun. We worked together at 20th all those years ago. And then it was fun that Lower Decks came around and was like, "Hey, this is a chance not just to work on Star Trek, but you get to work with your buddy." So it's fun.
There's another
until he's texting you, until he's harassing you. Let's see. He needs to stop.
Well, look, if he's still harassing you, it's very important. We have another.
I can't show you what he just said.
Well, we have another very important question in the chat, and that's from Carlos.
God. Is it from Mike?
No, it's from Carlos, but he says, "What does Mike like for lunch?"
You're gonna get free lunch, by the way.
I never got lunches for Mike. I'm trying to think. When we were assistants, I don't know. We used to go to this one food truck on the Fox lot. I don't know if it's still there. Mark's Superfood, I think it was called. Maybe a wrap. I don't know. I'm very food motivated and my food. So I don't think I was ever tracking. Like, I'm like, everyone else is ordering their meal, and I'm like, "Yeah, you do you. I want this. I'm locked in on what I want."
Sure. I mean, we saw like the Cerritos, we saw like nachos, burritos, like SoCal.
A lot of these things show up.
Food.
Yeah. There's a lot of there's big prominent guacamole scene. Lower Decks. Yeah.
That's kind of it came out of, when you're starting to do the design process of stuff. I can't remember exactly where it originated from, but the idea of like, you need to have food. The one specific in the script was Fletcher and the nachos. Like, Dr. Tana eating nachos in season 1, episode 6. I should know this. Nice. But she gets knocked into her nachos, but it just became a thing, like you kind of always have to have food in the back. You can't just have empty plates. And we didn't want to have the classic animation, just little brown piles, just kind of like nondescript, mushy shapes. So it was like, well, maybe that's, if the California class is like this lower tier of ship, maybe the one little perk the California class has is like they have the best Mexican programs in the replicator. Like somebody program. So it's been a through line. We kind of always like to have Mexican cuisine visually. I'm glad people
and hot bananas. Right.
And hot bananas.
That was a broken replicator though. Yeah. Yes. It should have been a plantain. It should have been. Well, that's more Cuban. But again, food motivated.
No. Look, I get, and Heather actually beat me to it in the chat because I was going to ask you, as she did, and now as Jane did. I really want the return of food cubes. I really want those TOS. Style.
The little.
Yeah, the TOS like brightly colored cube foods.
But how would you explain it?
Maybe. It's Lower Decks. I mean,
a little peek into this is a very Mike Brad dynamic. Mike would be like, "It'd be those funny food cubes, the cubes for the thing," and then I instantly go like, "Yes, but like they haven't had food cubes since like we haven't seen them. We didn't see them in TNG or Voyager. So like, what's the rationale? Because someone's going to come after and be like, excuse me,' and like want to know." Why are the replicators doing the food cubes? It'd be a whole thing.
No, this is easy. They're doing like a vintage progressive dinner kind of thing. Yep. And it's a styled thing. So
Boimler's obsessed with. He's going through a whole like
vintage week.
Yeah.
The replicators with you got to have the little automat little door. little tray.
You do, and look, and I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy and say that those were food synthesizers.
I'm so sorry. You are right. It's not a replicator. It's not a replicator.
Because I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to have to go there. But I understand.
I'll delete my account.
Wait, but who's the canon guy? Is it you, or is it Mike, or is it a little bit of both?
It's literally everyone. It's everyone trying to keep everybody else honest. We've got the team from Secret Hideout. We've got John Van Sitters reading everything. We have Dayton Ward, great partner. We have Dr. Aaron. We have a Trexpert. We have Catherine Lynn, who's going through our scripts. And then now what's been nice, season 1 was a lot of no. Like, I know you went and looked at some reference, but we're in this era of Star Trek. Things should look like this. It would be like this. Right. Now to see so many people on the crew have become Star Trek fans and have gotten into watching the old episodes and the shows, that now it's like something comes up and one of the artists will be like, well, no, I think, wasn't there that episode of Enterprise? And it's like, oh, I can kind of ease it back. I don't have to be as researching all the variations of fire extinguishers that have ever been seen on screen in Star Trek and decide which is the fire extinguisher that yes, I know that Dr. Bashir used this one in this one episode of DS9, but was that a Bajoran fire extinguisher?
Oh my God.
Was he on the, there's is it a leftover Cardassian one that was it's just built in the infrastructure? This is my insanity.
Wow.
This is what I think of. And if it ever is wrong, a Q did it.
Yeah, it's
just a Q.
Exactly. Not that Q, the other Q.
Yeah. The other Q. Yeah.
I liked in the preamble, you're like, yeah, Q. And at first I was like, well, Q2. And I'm like, no, wait, Q2 is that other Q.
Yeah.
This is Death Wish Q.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very different Q.
Plus, when you're there, you get Q and then you get 2Q.
Yes.
So
wasn't Q2? Wait, it's what's his face, right? Isn't Corbin? I can't.
Well, you had him.
Yeah,
you had Amanda Rogers. Then that was Olivia DeBow, and then you had
a dangling thread. Let's get her back in. Let's have her make more puppies.
See,
right?
Yes. Oh, puppies on the Enterprise. I feel like people at Lower Decks listen to Mission Log. I don't know, but I'm just saying maybe they listen.
I mean, you got one. You have at least 2.
There we go.
Stop.
Let's jump over to our first
Mike
caller.
is saying Boimler claims he likes the food cubes, but he won't admit that they taste like shit and give him diarrhea. Mike, if you don't want me to read these out, don't text.
Well, you can do it. It just gives Earl more work to bleep things later. That's fine.
Sorry. Do we not cuss? I'm so sorry.
You know what? It's only for the algorithm. And I know that Mike has a dirty, filthy mouth.
We're all Dr. Tanas.
But we never want to block anybody.
I'll try to PG it down. I'll PG-13 myself.
Fair. Well, let's go to our first caller, who I'm sure can also keep it PG-13, and that is Paul Harveth there with Tendy, calling as he does. Paul, how you doing tonight?
Great, John. Great, Norman. It's a pleasure to meet you, Brad. How exciting your job must be to work on this phenomenal show. Congratulations on just a great effort. Oh my word, it's just been so enjoyable to watch. I got 2 major points that I want to bring up. First of all,
points or issues.
Those spaceships will be directed at Mike.
Those models over your shoulder. Is that the Nautilus and the Proteus?
No. Wait, how did I miss this?
No. Wait.
No?
Okay, so
people are looking.
Hang on. Now I gotta.
That's a runabout.
Blow up my window.
That's from another franchise we won't talk about.
That's not the Nautilus.
That's a separate IP. Sorry. I'm off brand.
That's all right.
I got my Tom Paris plate. That's a little Deep Space Nine. That's a much larger Deep Space Nine. I'm partial to Deep Space Nine. And then we got a Starbase, maybe 80. Something else from another IP.
Nice.
Got an Enterprise D. We've got a Cerritos.
That's
straight up straining their eye right now for the other eye.
And we got a Deradex. Guys,
that's a Romulan ship.
during the pandemic, could you tell that anytime Eagle Moss had a 5-3? Yeah, I got
that was you.
I made myself happy with little ships to hold and please come back, Eagle Moss.
Right?
Because selfishly, we started doing the thing let's design this ship so they make it. Let's make an Osler.
Well, John, we were having that discussion about the Van Sitters Sovereign class. So if anyone's going to be able to push
make it a sovereign class,
right? Yeah. Exactly. So Van Sitter's well, I'd like to have my sovereign class, please, with my name on it. So let's make that happen.
He's the one that can make it happen. I feel bad, Paul. I cut you off to talk about my shelf.
I asked the question.
This is kind of what we do.
Yeah. It's amazing how bad my eyes are. The video.
Oh, feed. It's very dark. It's very dark, and it's purposely. I just moved into this place. The lights are hiding a lot of. The lighting's hiding a lot.
Yeah,
this is messy. Yeah.
That's pretty. I got to ask a question. Okay, so all these Easter eggs, particularly the visual Easter eggs, we know that Mike and his staff are really good at creating these written Easter eggs that people say. All those little drawn Easter eggs all over the place, are those in the script, or do the artists have some leeway there?
Like for example, the Spock helmet. Is that the kind of thing that you're...
Oh, just little ones everywhere, John. When you look on people's shelves, or you look at particularly the collector, since, I do that sort of thing too.
Yeah.
Is that...
It's a mix. I'm going to say sometimes, I can't remember the Spock helmet, if it's specifically called out, but the artists do have a lot of leeway. It's not, it is not a, you get in there and the script says, the collector ship in season 2 or the job fair in season 3. It wasn't it was calling out, hey, we're going to see some of these people, but it wasn't this is what is at the Collectors Guild. This is what it's at the artists go through and they put a bunch of stuff in. They're coming up with it. Like I said, they've come to know the show and enjoy the show, and they're putting those things in. And so it's kind of fun when the design dailies come in. You're sort of oh, wait, is that this? Is that this? It's a lot. It's coming from the team. There's a lot of fun stuff that's, put in there by the artist.
Has anything slipped by that you didn't see the first time and said, well, maybe we shouldn't have done that?
I won't comment, but maybe there might be. I'll say this. There's been stuff that's come in that we're what a fun thing. That's a fun idea. And then someone on Twitter will be look, they referenced this real world product that existed in 1970, whatever. I'm thinking of there's a charcuterie board that was in. I was I had no idea that was a product that existed. I didn't know we were referencing something. I thought that was just, what a cute idea. There's a prop that Mike has refused to allow into the show, and I'm going to call him out now.
Call him out, and we're all, everybody banded together. Yeah. We'll all give you his email address later. And
in episode, I always get 3 and 4 mixed up from season 1, but the one where Mariner is promoted in an attempt to get her to leave the ship, when you're seeing her new quarters, there was a fruit bowl, and the bowl was a little kind of like Cerritos. So it was a saucer section, little Cerritos bowl.
Nice.
And Mike was that's a little, it's cute, guys, but let's dial it back, which I find hilarious because Mike is the king of put a Delta on it. It's a chair, but put a Delta on it.
Look, if in Trek 2009, first of all, replete with deltas, just an uncomfortable number of deltas in that movie. But if Captain Pike can have a little salt shaker of the Kelvin, you can have a Cerritos fruit bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to push for it. I've tried since season 1 to get it done. Anytime there's a place where a bowl could be, I was we already have it. It's designed, ready to go.
There you go.
Okay,
Paul. It's a long, rambling answer. I'm sorry.
Second point,
sort of.
Second point, I'll ask. It seems that the major consternation within the show is caused by created things, i.e., Badgie, Peanut Hamper, and this heavy admiral person.
Peanut Hamper was not created. She has her own autonomy. Badgie is someone else. Badgie is all Rutherford or Red Rutherford. Not even
there
Rutherford.
You go.
Red
it just seems like they're all sort of, self-induced from Starfleet versus, having like aliens to fight anymore. Is this sort of a reflection on today's society with AI and that kind of thing? Or you guys just it's just we picked these guys?
I don't know. I think it's plain. It's more a Mike question. I don't want to speak for him, but I think a lot of it is, if I'd wonder if we did the math where, there's stuff that's created by our lower deckers, like screwing something up or like making a mistake versus the thing that's happening is, external, something they're coming across. And we went back and did the ratio of TNG, original series, everything, the math. I'd be curious to run the numbers of how much is like the crew screwed something up or that inadvertently, you go down to a planet, you pick up a flower, next thing you know, somebody's getting Tuvixed. Like, too soon.
We're
he had to go there.
Show and
he had to go there.
Tuvix already came up. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if it's. I will say there are some things that are definitely Mike trying to make reflections of the world. It is funny to me that he had to like explicitly come out and say what the backlids were meant to be invoking. That it had to be like, guys. But yeah, I think a lot of it is just you've got our young guys that make some mistakes, some foibles happen. It's not intentional. Maybe you're cleaning a statue and you inadvertently, activate an ancient strange energy device, or what is it? The one night in sick bay where it's like if we've had captains inadvertently like screw up diplomatic situations by saying the wrong thing at the wrong,
right.
Yes.
So to me, it makes sense that a lower decker can very easily make a mistake by bringing the wrong, they were supposed to bring the wood box, but they brought, the crystal box, but they brought the wood box.
Yeah. Nice Enterprise reference, by the way, Brad. Well done on that.
Well done. All the way around.
I do love, sorry, Paul, I was going to say, I do love how all these things in Lower Decks has become sort of a known part of the universe, because a lot of these that we see in either TOS or Next Gen or whatever, it's like this rare, weird thing, but here we are in Lower Decks. It's like, it's another one of those Brigadoon planets. It just pops into it.
Yeah, I
the
love
galaxy
watching
is
the fan
lousy
reviews.
with them.
Yeah, I like watching the fan review where like someone will say like, "Oh, they're referencing this episode." I'm like, we weren't. We were referencing this episode, and like the fact that like how many semi-omnipotent beings are there? How many energy clouds are there? I always think of that Futurama episode, right, where the villain, and it's like, I loved all the episodes, especially the 3 about the energy creature. They come up. It's how our guys deal with it, and it's how it's presented. Not to get too much in the sausage of like narrative storytelling, but like there's only so many stories, guys. There's the boss is coming over for dinner, and the house is a mess. Like we have that with a reporter's coming over, and like the ship, and this ship's crazy. Like these. Right. The joy is in seeing how these characters that hopefully, and it seems like a big chunk of the fandom have grown to really care about and love, and that's been a huge, thing for me to see, is that like we've only had 30 episodes there. Yeah, people have like very strong feelings about all our characters, but then they have strong feelings about like Miglimo, or like people love the whales, or like I love that we can just give a little bit, and then like a whole fandom sprouts up, and I like that. I like that we're seeding these little characters throughout.
Yeah. Paul, I'm sorry, you had one last question here. Yeah.
One last thing. We can't get enough of T'Lyn coming up, and hopefully you can talk to Mr. Van.
Really?
So my friend,
is T'Lyn a popular character?
So my friend Tendi here can have someone to talk to when I come on, on screen. It'd be nice if both of them here to consult with.
Yeah.
I like that Mike had to get ahead of it a year ago, and he's like, guys, T'Lyn she's coming, but she's not going to be next season. And all season long, it's like, where is she? Every week. And it's like, well, she's not here yet. Why isn't she here? I'm like, she's not. I can promise you, Lynn's there. She's around. She's not in every episode, but she's in a lot of episodes. You will get to Lynn.
Wedge Dish was such a huge episode. Were you surprised by that?
I'm gonna say not totally surprised. I was surprised how. I think it's one of our best episodes, if not our best. But I was surprised how many people it got, like maybe weren't watching Lower Decks, and like were like, okay, now I'll check this out. The fact that it was nominated for a Hugo, Mike and I were like, that's awesome. But like as sci-fi nerds, we're like, wow, that's incredible. I will say though that Mike called it from the set. He's like, it's the best. Like this is an important special episode from the start. Mm. But I was like, they're all. I'm very producer. Like they're all our babies. They're all important. But Mike knew how special that was very, very early in the process. I came around to it as he was like, script 1 is done. This is a special episode. I was like, well, like when you get the actors in, because like with that one, it's so much of not our main cast. So the casting of like John Curry as Mock and Gabrielle as Talin, and like all the other casting, all those Vulcans, it was sort of, I'm like, maybe it'll work. And it all did. It was great. And then you get Chris Westlake's music, the art team, and the battle. It's great. It all came together. It's a very Lower Decksy episode. And it has maybe one of my favorite jokes, Talin's leaving and the Vulcan's just standing there. And the one guy, like, she has lost all control. It's great. Vulcan VO is a lot of like arms behind your back, lift one eyebrow, tilt your head. A lot of the records with Gabrielle have been, like, no, I need you. You're angry, but Vulcan angry. Yeah. You're mad, but Vulcan angry. So it's just the slightest.
Right.
I'm like, you're throwing a little shade. So it's just a slight like, It's a lot of that. Adding, well, like fascinating. It's a testament to watch like Ethan on Strange New World. Like I think he's knocking it out of the park. So great. All right, I'm rambling again. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Paul, live long and prosper, sirs, as she would say.
There you go.
Paul,
take care. Thanks, Paul. And good timing because we do have to go to the break here in just a second. But I apologize. The chat got past me. I didn't realize that it had paused. Mike McMahon jumping in saying about the bowl. I told them to add I told them to add the damn bowl. So he's pushing back. I'm a little uncomfortable about this. And then Kayla Pavia, watching the show about damn time, saying, Mike, going off about the damn bowl. She's right. So
she is.
Yeah.
I'll talk to our art director, Nolan, and I don't think the bowl's in there, but we'll see if the bowl's in there. Maybe it's in there season 4, and I'm missing.
You need that, and then that'll become a consumer produdt. We'll get
I want to buy it.
And we'll say, look, you can make this just like that Tom Paris
I want my
plate.
Pizza cutter. I want my bottle opener. I want I want all the things.
All the things, yeah. All right, perfect point here as we're talking about crass commercialism to go to a break. Alan, hold on. John Arminio, hold on. We will be right back. Norman, I am so excited. This is like the perfect joining of our interests. It's Star Trek and booze. Is where we've met our perfect sponsor now. We are so happy to welcome Star Trek Spirits to the Mission Log family. And we have a little bit of a preview here for you tonight, because starting next Monday, November 21st, that is when StarTrekSpirits.com will go live. That's when you can start to order one of these incredible looking Romulan bottles. You've got a Romulan vodka and you have the gorgeous Romulan rye. It's beautiful. The vodka gorgeous on your screen there, that's the one to the left, the lighter color. The rye has the darker color. Here's what you do, because the site is not officially launched yet, but if you go there, if you go to StarTrekSpirits.com, put in your information, you will get an announcement, you'll get an email that'll have all the details, but here's the part you need to remember. They have a special checkout code for us, for our listeners Easy to remember, Roddenberry, Roddenberry, and you will get an as yet to be announced premium gift with your order. So, StarTrekSpirits.com. There's more to come, by the way. We're just previewing here the Romulan bottles, which look amazing, and they went through so much to get those bottles absolutely right, so you can display them proudly and drink some delicious booze. Norm, you had some of that booze at STLV.
Yeah, we had the opportunity. I mean, it was fantastic to be able to be like part of some of the tasting events there at Star Trek Las Vegas, with Star Trek Spirits. Narda, yes, you want those bottles. We all want those bottles. Anyone who's a fan of Star Trek and that aesthetic of those bottles, you want those bottles. So make sure that you follow us and follow the information that's being parsed out, from this point forward. We tasted the spirits. The spirits are fantastic. And, it's always wonderful to have this partnership between the product and the aesthetic that you get to collect, because at the end of the day, when you're done with a product, you get to actually have this. You get to have this bar that you've been wanting to collect for years, and create this wonderful bar situation for yourself with the glasswork, with the design, and with a representation of Star Trek, in your own personal space, whether it's your bar, whether it's your kitchen, whether at home, whether on your desk or your shelf. It is as gorgeous in person as you think it is. It really, really is. So yes, make sure that you follow us. You follow Star Trek Spirits, the Romulan Ale. Both variations are absolutely gorgeous. You can't go wrong with this. You really can't.
Yep. So go there today, StarTrekSpirits.com. Sign up so you get the announcement when those products go live. And then remember to use Roddenberry as that checkout code, and you will get a gift. So get a gift for yourself. Give a gift of some booze. Everybody wants that. StarTrekSpirits.com. And just for 2 seconds, of course, reminding everybody, go join us at patreon.com/missionlog, because that's how you get to the Mission Log Discord and the incredible amount of high quality conversation that's there. Better than this conversation, because it's not just me and you rambling, Norman. I mean, that's not
everyone else rambling too.
Yeah, it's not a slight against Brad. I'm just saying it's not just me and you. It's everybody else who's really bringing their A game to the Mission Log Discord. So join us there. You can only get there from patreon.com/missionlog, and we'll see you there. We'll see you there in the Discord too.
Hey, we have a compliment here from Ryan Husk. Hello, Ryan Husk.
Hey, Ryan. Hey, good to see you,
buddy?
The OGs in this business. Yes. Nice to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining. All right, well, let's get back to the show, because I know that we've got a couple more callers standing by. Of course, from the Cerritos is Alan calling in. Alan, how you doing tonight, my friend?
Oh, we're doing great down here. John, Norman, Brad, it's nice to meet you. Everything's going swimmingly down here. We're enjoying our own Star Trek Spirits.
Nice. Yes, you are. Of course.
So, yeah,
of course you are. Yeah.
Everything's going
I
well.
believe, if I remember that episode, though, you're in the brig, right?
Yeah.
I could be, yeah. This is... Yeah, they've just delivered some...
They did the testing, and...
I think so, yeah.
I should know. You don't need to know.
That's all right.
Alan, what's on your mind tonight?
Well, first of all, God bless this fan base. Yes, booze, but we're really excited about those bottles.
Yes, we are right.
The packaging is amazing.
Because you want the thing that looks in universe. That's it. Right.
I'm not a big red wine guy, but I want that Canar bottle. I want the...
that bottle is
you want that.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal.
Want that. I might know a guy, Brad. We'll talk. Yeah.
And of course, a fruit bowl that's shaped like one of the ships, people are going to buy that.
Duh. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get on that, whatever it takes. But I just cannot express how much I love this crazy little show, and just everything that it's sort of brought to Star Trek, or even more appropriately brought back to Star Trek. Speaking of the Discord and the Patreon, we have a lot of discussions there, and recently there have been a couple of discussions about canon. And one of the things that I dearly appreciate about Lower Decks is that it seems almost intent on taking all those weird little things and that maybe sometimes fans get a little precious about with Star Trek and say, no, it's all there. 50-foot Spock, he's there. This season, Kukulkan, he's back.
Yes.
And that turned out to be a timely reference, didn't it?
Yeah. I was very glad.
Oh, because of Wakanda?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like, spoilers for Wakanda.
It's in the trailer. It's in the trailer.
Okay. I don't watch trailers. I don't know.
Oh.
I'm that guy. I want to be surprised. I want to come in.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're a better man than I in that sense.
Alan, you've been a huge supporter of like Lower Decks from the very beginning, and I think there's like I think that there's like an interesting shift in the fan base right now where like fans, they're clinging on to maybe the canonical structure and the history of Star Trek maybe a little too closely, and then some were just like, you know what, I just want to be entertained. I want to have fun. I want to be able to look at Star Trek and remember what was, canonically serious, but at the same time though, be able to move forward with the fandom and say like, you know what, this is just fun. It's fun again. It's fresh. It makes me laugh. It entertains me. And at the end of the day, I can talk to friends about it who's never been into Star Trek before. And like, you know what? You guys are going to laugh. You guys are going to have fun. You're like, laugh at Star Trek? What are you talking about? It's like, of course you can. Of course you can. Because like being able to parody something and being able to create something that has a little bit more like levity in your canon, that's how much you actually do love it.
Yeah,
to be able to take that seriousness and kind of like put it on the wayside.
That's the human part of it in a way. That's the accessible bit, is that, these really are just, everyday people, you and me, going through life, cleaning blank out of the holodeck blank filters.
I will always argue, though. I would argue, though, that all Trek has always been funny. Yeah. It's just the ratio. The ratio has always been there. There's always been a little levity. There's always been funny. Even back in TOS era, a little quip and then, a wink to the camera. There's always been the little bits. It's just Lower Decks has changed. The comedy ratio is a little higher, and the serious drama bring down, because Wage Douche, good example. We've had some serious stuff happen this last season. Boimler dealing with mortality and his transporter clone. Spoilers. We'll get a little serious, but for the most part, we're having jokey fun time. And other treks are a little serious and a little jokey fun. For every messed up huge galaxy spanning story, you need to have an episode where somebody's learning to tap dance. That's Star Trek. Yeah.
Brad, did you pay attention much before season one went on the air? Were you kind of tuned in to fan, maybe some misplaced fan opinions? Or did you try to tune in?
No, I hadn't heard anything. No, it's been interesting though. Season one, there was a lot of guys, let's be honest, the deck's kind of stacked against us. We're a comedy, that hasn't been a thing before. We're animated, that hasn't been a thing in a generation for viewership. We're a half hour, that's a first. We have so many things stacked against us, which I think is why we lean so heavily into, let's just make it feel and look like the era we're in. So right away, let's go with the traditional L cars. Let's have everything be gunmetal gray. Let's get some carpet on those floors.
Oh boy. Just
so we're coming with so many wild angles of the fandom. Let's create some sense of familiarity. And we even did that, I think, with the main titles. The main titles could have been hey, we're going around the ship and we're seeing a bunch of people do wacky stuff. And instead it's no, let's do a big cinematic classic. It's just the ship. It's beauty shots of the ship. But then let's find the way to have that full orchestra, have the beauty shots of the ship, but still reveal like they're messing up a little bit. And yeah, I'm rambling again. I'm sorry.
Well, here's what I'm curious about, though, because, you're working on season 1 kind of in a vacuum. Like, yes, the announcement goes out. Yes, there are fans who are already upset about something that they're not going to see for another year. That's just how fandom works.
I mean, that reception at Comic-Con 2019 in Hall H was chilling.
Okay, but here's what happens then. Then at a certain point, the fandom catches up with the production because season 1 gets out there. People get to see it, digest it. You've already got season 2 in the can. Here we are where season 3 has finished airing, but you're already in production and far along in production.
Season 4 finished writing a very long time ago. This will always be the thing with Lower Decks. The seasons are written and production has started months before anyone's seen the previous season.
But is there anything that acts as, I don't want to say a course correction because that would imply that anything was wrong, but is there anything
you try to steer Mike McMahon in any direction?
Oh God, I would never. Yeah.
Well, no, it's, I can honestly say there is no, Mike is pretty assured about his vision and his ideas for the show. There's no kind of fretting about, the concerns and the feedback are like listened to, interpreted. I think like he did a really great interview recently with Jesse Jinder. Say people should check out.
Yeah.
That talks a little bit about some of the criticisms about the Mariner Jennifer storyline. Some really good stuff in there, but it's never a like, oh, we should change what we're doing, because if we listen to what season 3 would have just been the Talent show and nothing but wage douche, and like it would have, there's what the fandom thinks it wants, and I think Mike's really good at going like, you don't even know what you want yet.
Right.
Like I'm going to show you something new.
That's a great point.
So yeah, season 4, it's all peanut.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
We've talked about this, John. When Star Trek, where we're looking at like a 22 to 24 episode season where we're like, okay, we can actually feel like the network influencing the direction of the season. Whereas this, like for better or for worse, they're telling, like Mike, Brad, you're all telling the story that you want to tell. And it's kind of like, well, this is the story that we want to tell. We've done it consistently. We've done it with the tone that we want. We've done it with the voice that we want. We've done it with the direction that we want. So I think that's actually kind of refreshing where it's, this is the vision. And if you're gonna, if for better or for worse, this is the vision. It's unapologetic, it's pure, it's true, and you're just gonna you're gonna be on board with it or you're not. But at least it's not been influenced or watered down. I think that's actually a testament to be able to do that in streaming, entertainment.
And I would say, coming from a lot of other animation production, the level of notes and network and studio involvement and, hey, you need to make these changes. This is the smoothest sailing ship I've ever been on in terms of, we turn in an episode, Secret Hideout, CBS, Paramount Plus are like, cool, great. There might be one like, wait, in Act 3 is this happening? And we're like, oh yeah. In color, it's going to be this. And they're like, awesome, great. That's what we thought. Just wanted to make sure. We've never really gotten massive guys, what's going on here? I have to give testament to Kurtzman, Aaron, Robin, everyone at Secret Hideout, plus the teams at CBS. We've just gotten a lot of support, and it's been, frankly, unusual in a television endeavor.
Hey,
Tron Uprising.
Oh, there we go. That's a callback. We've got 2 more callers that I want to get to tonight. Alan, do you have any parting shots here?
No, just I definitely don't want to take any more time because I know we've got other people. But again, just love it. Keep up the good work, and that at the end of the day, we've always said when we've talked about these episodes that it's, yes, it's funny. Yes, it's a cartoon. Yes, it's still Star Trek. So
there you go.
Kudos. Thank you. Have a good rest of your evening. And we'll leave it to our friends, John, and we'll see you guys later.
All right.
Thanks, Alan.
Take care, Alan.
Yep.
Cheers. By the way, just a quick couple of comments here. Narda saying, Lower Decks is very slapstick comedy Trek at times, with a serious side at times. I recall Larry Nemecek, Dr. Trek, comparing it to MASH, and I kind of agree with that. And Heather saying Lower Decks is a love letter.
We haven't killed a baby yet.
Yeah. God. Yeah, it just got dark. Heather says Lower Decks is a love letter both to Star Trek and Trek fandom. Absolutely.
That's sweet, but also I'm realizing spoilers for MASH. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 45-year-old show. Yeah. Let's go to John Arminio. John, how you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Hey,
good.
John.
Welcome to the show. And what's on your mind?
Yeah. Thank you, Brad, for talking with us. I really appreciate it. One of the things that I love about Lower Decks is the way characters develop throughout the season and throughout the course of the show, and you give us glimpses into a character's personality that we might have written off as like one-dimensional, stereotypical. So like, Ransom continues to...
We literally just recorded Jerry O'Connell.
Nice.
Very close to my heart.
Yeah.
I love him.
Well, like, if one were to jump to conclusions about what the show is, they might see Ransom as a one-dimensional character, or even Boimler as sort of like a stereotypical like beta male guy. But clearly, there are psychological depths to these characters. So I'm wondering, are those extra dimensions planned in the writing? Are you saying, okay, well, we need to develop this character a little more, or does that come out sort of naturally in the writing of each episode?
I mean, more of my question, because I'm very limited involved in the writing. Mike tells me, hey, we have a story idea, and I go like, oh, don't do that. Like, I'm much more the like, wait, wasn't there already an episode that did this? And he's like, no, but it'll be different. And then he goes off and does it. But I would say a lot of it, Mike could correct me in the chat or wherever later, but I think it's as you go along, you start to know the characters more. Mike's always had a really strong sense of each character on the show, but also they're all like, at first they might seem like, it bothers me a little bit when I'll see online sometimes, we saw it in 309, people are like, oh, I'm so mad at Freeman. I'm so like, I can't believe Freeman would do this or would do this. And I'm like, I think it's very understandable that Freeman, based on all the past history she has with her daughter, everything that's happened, would make a rash decision. But also we see Freeman go, oh, all the evidence I had was wrong. I've screwed up and I need to fix this. And I'm distraught over it, which to me, that's human. It's very real. It's very human and not a, just stereotype of like this type of character. And the same thing with Ransom, like he's kind of a blowhard, kind of like, I don't even know how to describe him. I love Ransom. Like, I can tell you about my summer in Barcelona. Like, that was like, ooh, we know Ransom. And also like when he meets Troy and she's like, you're masking a lot of insecurity. He's like, I can work with that. Like, he's just unflappable. But at the end of the day, he's like a really good officer. He cares about, like, he could just be like, I got to get Mariner off this ship. But he's like, no, I'm trying to, and we saw a lot of that in season 3, him trying to help Mariner out,
And he's so ethical.
I will say this. It was not scripted at the end of the episode, 302. It was not scripted. It was just scripted. Ransom starts to give a speech, and we go off that scene. Jerry is the one in the booth who's like, ooh, what's that thing I say? Like, this is his, like, thing. And Jerry was the one who, like, started doing the, like, though we all may come from different world, and so that sort of established that Ransom has a like, oh, this is my type 5 of diplomatic like kerfuffles, like how to fix it. Like he's like a stand-up. He like knows how to play the room. And I'm like, that stuff happens organically with the actors. It happens in the retake process. It happens as we're working on these episodes. Not to get too into the weeds about it, but like season 3 got finished about 2 months ago. So, like, we're working on it right up until it airs. Wow. So, Yeah, it's I guess to answer the question, it's a little bit from everybody, but Mike has a very core idea of who these characters are and can tell. You could present any scenario and he would say, maybe season 1 Boimler would say that, but not season 3. Like there's a slow, let's face it, at the end of the day, it's a sitcom. You know, no one watches like Cheers and they're like, Norm hasn't developed as a character. Like Norm is still just going to this bar. Like we have a little bit of growth with our characters, but I'd also point out that for the timeline of the show, it's been about a year and a half since you've met them. For them, it's been a very busy year and a half, but not that much time has passed for them.
Gotcha.
Hopefully that answered things.
John, so we're going to run just a little bit late here. I really want to get in Cherie's call, but John, any final thoughts tonight?
I guess it is because you were talking earlier about the chilly reception in 2019, but I think the response to the show has only grown and grown as just
overwhelming now.
Yeah, overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I really hope it's gratifying to see just how much the show has been embraced by Star Trek fandom. Like Star Trek as universally love this show.
Yeah, I can't express enough how much going to Mission Chicago and going to that Lower Decks panel and seeing that crowd and seeing that reaction. And then I was walking around with our composer, Chris Westlake, and I won't out him as like, maybe he's not the hugest Star Trek nerd about things. He's a music nerd. It's a different brand. But he's like, wait, so are the ones with the white stripes? Those are the Lower Decks ones, right? And I said, yes. And Chris goes, but like almost every person here is wearing the white stripes. And I said, yes, Chris, like that's good. And he's like, so like people like it. They absolutely do. He's like, oh wow, that's great. And like, you know, like to sit there and they showed a clip and the music was playing and people were like singing along behind him, like to get to sit with a friend too. But the response has been nuts. We've cried a lot. I cried so much at Mission Chicago. It's dumb. The Sci-Fi Sisters, you can like listen to their podcast. Every time I saw them on the floor, they made me cry. So by like Sunday, I was like, you can't talk to me. They're coming up to talk to me. I'm like, no, because every time we cry, I'm running away. The response has been great.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah. Very cool.
So thank you for all your great work.
Oh, thank you.
Right. John, take care. Pleasure to see you tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
All right. Let's wrap up the show with also calling from the Cerritos. It's Cherie. How you doing tonight? Oh, are you on? Are you muted?
There we go.
There we go.
Hey.
All right.
Hey. Oh, thanks for having me on. Sorry, I'm very late, much later than usual. I was feeling rather shy. So, my friends in the chat have egged me on to ask my questions. I'm asking it not just for myself, but for them as well. Because for me, I was just like, maybe I'm just focusing on this too much. And I want to preface this with, I love this show so much.
It sounds like there's a huge butt coming.
That's a problem because it's a question. I feel like maybe I missed something. It feels like maybe I missed something, or maybe there's like a spoiler and you're not allowed to tell me. So
I will try to help if I can.
So the first episode says that Rutherford got his implant 2 weeks ago, but in this season,
I believe up until recently, and until recently, or does he say 2 weeks?
Yeah, it says as of 2 weeks ago, cybernetically enhanced.
Yeah,
I have watched this so many times.
Yeah. I've never met a recent cyborg. Yeah. I would say that with everything involving Rutherford's implant, which we've kind of learned more so this season, maybe not the most reliable indication of timelines and things. I would say the bigger question is how the two implants. When did he get the other implant? Because there's when Shax died, the implant was ripped off with Badgie. Wow. And that's the implant we saw at the end of the season that somebody picked up. I won't say who picked it up, but somebody picked that implant up. So when he was at the Starbase, he got that new implant. But who also worked at that starbase?
Oh. See,
if anything doesn't add up, a Q did it.
There you go. Perfect.
Those are like the most perfect soft spoilers.
Or a time crystal from Borat.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Which, oddly enough, fit very neatly in a Cerritos fruit bowl. So, yeah, exactly. Cherie, is that because you've kind of indicated that question before? Is that the answer you're looking for? The non-answer answer you were looking for? Perfect.
I'm hoping there is more about Rutherford's storyline, because I'm sure many of the fans love Rutherford and love his storyline. So
yeah, I would say there's a lot about. I mean, I don't think it's spoiling. Mike said a little bit about this, but I would say this last season 3, we got a lot of Rutherford's backstory. Yeah. I think he was kind of underserviced in the backstory department. And I'd say season 4 is sort of like the Tindy backstory season. We're going to get a lot more. We saw little bits of it, but there's more. We get to learn more about Tindy. Just like we got a little. Yeah, I think season 1 we got some of Mariner's background. And look, we'll get that season 5, 6, 7. Mike if you get Mike started on Billups's backstory, he's got things.
Oh God.
Yeah.
We need more of those like medieval fair, Ren Fair ship deals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starship Ren Fair. I'm here for it.
I love Tendi going full pirate in the DS9 episode. I would love to see more of that.
That was awesome.
That was amazing.
We'll find out.
Nice.
It's not a spoiler to say because Mike said it elsewhere. We do go to Orion in season 4. So, you see more. You find out more.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think there's been little bits that have been, seeded across the series that we delve more into. And you get to see Orion culture as it is.
Sweet.
Yay.
All right. Cherie, thank you so much for closing out the show with those excellent thoughts and questions.
Thanks, Cherie.
Take care. Until next time. Bye.
Prosper.
Yeah, that too.
That live logs and proper.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Brad, thank you. Can't thank you enough. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. This was fun. There was so few hard questions to answer. I
have one last hard question.
I spoke too soon. I don't know off the top of my head how long the Cerritos is. It's like 500 meters, I think. I don't know. Michael put it as a document.
So, are you excited about the live action crossover?
Yeah, it's great. I'm very excited about it. I'm trying to think what I can say about it I will. Just to clear up some confusion, this has been said a lot, but I think it gets missed sometimes. It is not Roger Rabbity. It is not an animated Boimler and Mariner with the live action. It is Tawny Newsome and Jack as Boimler and Mariner in live action with the Strange New Worlds cast. Like it's human people. There's not a mix of it's animation, it's live action. And how it gets between them, you'll have to watch. But it's a Strange New Worlds episode. We've been helping them out with some stuff, but I'm very excited for it. Hopefully, I have no idea when it will air, when it will happen, anything about it. I just know my little peek into it. I'm very excited about it as a fan. Like I loved Strange New World. I'm very excited for Picard. I'm excited for I'm excited for all the stuff too. Like we get to be fans. I do get a lot of stuff spoiled for me, but awesome. You guys should be excited.
Well, there you go, gang. And if you're trying to put 2 and 2 together with that, between now and the time that episode airs, just remember Q did it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I'm spoiling right now. All the Qs come back. That's how it happens. Every Q that's ever been on Star Trek. Every Q. Also, that old guy that brought his wife back to life on that planet.
Yeah,
Kevin Uxbridge. He was a Q. I'm blowing it out. Also cues.
Yeah. We've been meaning to check in on Kevin Uxbridge for a long, long time. All right. Well, thank you so much, Brad. Thank you to all of our listeners. And with that, Mission Log Live is produced by Roddenberry Entertainment. Technical production on Mission Log and Mission Log Live by the inculpable Earl Green. Be sure to visit podcast.roddenberry.com for the latest from Roddenberry Podcasts. If you'd like to support us directly, give us a look at patreon.com/missionlog. Thank you to everyone who joined us live or later. We look forward to chatting with you again next week.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.